All right. Hey, welcome to the Here Brotherhood and X Room collab episode.
That's right. Yeah, perfect.
Right.
That's perfect tee up.
Amazing. Introduce Hondo for us, would you?
So Hondo's, we call each other homies. He's become a very, very good friend. He's the founder of Club Paddock. As you can see, we're here in Club Paddock. I wish this was my garage with all those cars in the back.
And this is quite the backdrop.
It is incredible. And I love Hondo's story. He came here to this country. I want to hear about it and like how he came and kind of what he's built. But he came with very little, and he's built incredible things, done a couple of exits, and then built this place with his son. His son he's like, hey, how do I come up with something to do with my son? And Angelo is awesome, and so he's created this. And so what it's done from my perspective is bring incredible people together. I think it's one of the greatest places to build relationships. So it's an absolute honor to call you a friend and have you on the Here Brotherhood show as well.
Well, thanks for having me both. I feel privileged to be interviewed by two superstars. Yeah, dude. Let's do it.
Well, I'd love to hear, Shawn has mentioned you have this amazing story and how you came to where you are now. I'm not familiar with it, so I'd love for you to share like your background and your story. I'm
from Chile originally. I was born and raised there, and that's where my family's from and so on. And in the back of my mind, I wanted to come to the States at some point and get an education here. My mom was always very big in education. She wanted me to be a doctor, so I actually did 1 year medical school back home. And that didn't go anywhere. So I'm like, I guess I'm going to the States. So I told my parents that I wanted to go to the United States. I remember my mom telling me that, she wasn't all hyped up about that. She was kind of negative on the idea because she knew that it would be a struggle, She told me in Spanish, you can stay here, you can be la cabeza del león, which is the head of the lion. But if you're going to be there, you're going to be la cola del ratón, the tail of the rat. Because you're over there, you're an immigrant, you don't speak the language, you don't have any money, like it's going to be a tough climb. And in the back of my mind, I always had that chip on my shoulder. I'm like, no, I'm going to be the head of the line over there. Like, that's what I want to do, And I had this drive.
Prove them wrong.
Like yes, I'm going to show the world that I can, it doesn't matter. Like, I'll go over there and see, I'll make it happen. So I came to the States I was 22 years old. I have a twin brother. So the two of us came together. And we had very little money. My dad gave us enough for like the first semester to pay for school, but after that, you're on your own. You figure it out.
And there was no net.
There was no net.
Yeah.
No, zero. Yeah. I mean, if we didn't make it, we're back home.
Yeah.
So I went to college at the University of Utah. The first job I had I was the janitor at the school. I also got hired at a restaurant to be the dishwasher, and my jobs for the first year, I did that full time on both.
Yeah.
So literally from the ground up.
Bro, school in the morning, trying to learn the language and learn algebra in English. I didn't speak English at 22. Like, I came here, I'm watching TV. I'm like, I don't know what the hell people are saying. You had some basics. Hello, good morning. May I go to the bathroom? But that's the extent of my English.
Wow.
So it was challenging, but it's interesting how we as humans, we put in a position where you have to accomplish, and if you're in that situation, you'll figure it out. We all can. You talk about shark attacks, people get attacked by, I wouldn't know, well, people swim and fight them and they survive. And like, when you're in a situation where you have to do something, we find a way to do it. And that's what I did. I was here, I learned the language in 3.5, 4 months. I was pretty fluent. I worked my butt off as a janitor, as a dishwasher. And it's because those are the only jobs I could have, because of my language, no work permit. I could only work at the school. So I was the janitor at the school. But after my first year here, I got a work permit. Then I started getting like actual jobs, making more money. And I was good at business in general, and kind of got my start in marketing where my career began. I was running marketing agencies my entire life for 25, 26 years. So my career in business was in marketing. And all I did is I operated marketing agencies. The first 3 that I operated as their CEO were owned by other people. And I had a lot of success building companies and growing them. And I learned how to do exits by helping them exit. And I learned that every time they had an exit, I was empty-handed. So in 2012, I figured I'm not doing this again. And I started my first company. And I built 3 companies along the way and sold all 3. And it was great. And I retired 2 years ago. After I finished that, I wanted to do something with my son, Angelo. something that we could do together. We're both passionate about cars. He's the car nut. I like cars, but he's fanatical about cars and car racing and all this.
Yeah.
So I wanted to stay connected with him. He's, getting older. He's 27. And, as they grow older, you disconnect, And I wanted to keep that connection with him. So having a business with him was like the answer.
Wow.
And so we do this together.
That's so good. I actually, before we started recording, I was like, is this your passion? And you were like, no, actually. And so that answers that piece of it. But I guess that leads to the question, what do you feel like is your passion now?
Outside of family and being a dad, which is, I think, all men, we're passionate about family. And for me, being a dad is like my number one passion. I love being a dad to my daughter. Like, I love my daughter, and my boys are like, they do no wrong in my head. My wife just, you can't, you got to be a little more disciplined, whatever. But I just love being a dad. But outside of that, what am I personally passionate about is cycling. That's my thing.
Nice.
I bike a lot.
Road cycling.
I do some mountain biking. Shawn got me into mountain biking lately, and I'm enjoying that. That's more of a fun thing to do. I don't think about. It's just chill to mountain bike. But road cycling, dude, I love that sport.
He's a beast.
That's awesome.
Right now, I'm thinking, okay, 2:00, I've got a window literally in the back of my head. Well, I can hit the canyon from 2 to 4. I'm doing this route. So it's always in the back of my head. When am I going to get out next to hit a ride, go to a race, whatever?
Nice.
It's a good time.
That's awesome. Okay, I have to dig into, you had a message that you got from your mom about moving here that was, I'd say, cautionary. Like she was maybe wanting to protect you or whatever. It didn't stop you. Where did the mindset come from when you just reflect back and go, no, there was something in me that said I can go out there and be the head of the lion? Tell me how you got to that.
I was told, I have a twin brother, and twins, there's always the black sheep and the good one. I was the black sheep. I was always getting us in trouble. I was always the one that my parents thought I was going to end up in jail, full of tats and smoking dope or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was a troublemaker growing up, like no question. But something clicked when I was in my 2021. I served a mission. I'm LDS, and I was a missionary. And for those 2 years, something clicked in my head that kind of changed my perspective in life. And I had this can-do attitude, like I can do this, mentality. And I wanted to achieve so much more when I came home. I had a vision of what I could do. And it's interesting because in my entire career, I've always seen what it can. Before I get there, I cannot see it. And I just go get there, for Paddock, I had a vision of what Paddock could be. So when we started it, we're getting there. But I already envisioned what it could be. In my mind, I could see it. And I think that's a mental attitude that you just have. I think call it karma, call it whatever. You throw it out there in the universe and it comes back, So you get back what you put in. So you put in the effort, you put in the faith, the hope, and all the positive energy. Somehow the universe helps you get there. That sounds silly, but I believe in that.
I can't imagine, if we had to go, another country, you have just some money in your pocket to get you a couple months in. How scary something like that would be. You don't know the language. It's completely different culture. You don't have a network. There's really nothing, and you burned your ships. You got to go all in, and it's like what you said earlier is that's what it takes to drive you. It's there's no going back. You got to go in.
I get bothered sometimes with younger kids that will talk to me about how difficult their life is, and I'm like, bro, you're 20 years old. You speak English. You speak the language. Let's start there. You're not in a country that you don't understand the culture and you don't speak that. You have family here, you have friends here. This is your culture and you speak the language fluently. Plus, that's an advantage I didn't have. And yet I made it, and I cleaned bathrooms and washed dishes for a year. I had the worst rash in this arm for an entire year. I didn't have health insurance. I just dealt with it. But it drove me to more. Every time I was in the college, dude, it was crazy. I would go to class, meet people, and we'd be in a group study, and we'd be chilling, right? This cool kid from Chile, oh, great. Then they would see me janitor, and the next day they wouldn't talk to me. I'm like, I'll show you. It gave me so much energy to prove those guys judging me somehow because I was cleaning the bathrooms or whatever. it gave me the drive to be like, yeah, I'll achieve so much more than all of you. Not because I want to be better, it's because I can for myself, you know? So that was my drive. And my wife says I have a chip on my shoulder. Maybe I do still, but it's been a driver for me to like, you can do as much as you want to do, as long as you believe in yourself and put the effort into it. You know, it's effort. You got to be smart about it. A lot of it is faith and hope and belief in, you know, self-belief, self-confidence, self-image, you know, how you see yourself.
I think that's so interesting. This is something I've been thinking about a lot recently is we have these, even just growing up, we have these certain struggles, challenges, maybe disadvantages. And then there's a lot we can do with those things that are imprinted on us and our core belief systems. And I see a lot of people, they will dedicate their life to almost overcompensate for the thing that they were lacking. Right. So I look at guys that are like super buff, like just huge. And I look at them and I think, was there a time when they felt so small and so weak? Right. That's their drive now is like, I'm never going to feel that way again. And I'm going to be so buff and ripped and whatever, you know, and that's not always the case for everybody. Right. But I think there's something to that where it's like our adversity becomes our motivator and our driver and our superpower. But then there's this moment of like, okay, am I maybe overcompensating? Am I so stuck in this story that I'm using this as like a coping mechanism to feel okay about myself? Right. As opposed to like, no, that served me for a time to get me to where I am now. And now I'm at peace with who I am. And you just spoke to that, right? Like having that sense of self-confidence and of self-compassion and love where it's no longer about, I have to go and prove something to people, right? Right. But it's not to discredit that there is something really valuable in that. Like maybe it was a chip on the shoulder and look at the gifts that came from that, right? And where it positioned you in life now. Right. But now it's like, oh yeah, do I still need that chip? Not so much, right? Yeah. That's awesome. No, that's just something that's been on my mind lately. So thank you for sharing that story. And there's a piece in there that I also wanted to ask about going from the janitor, the dishwasher while in college. And then at some point what was that step that kind of got you to let's say like the next rung up or the next level? Like what did that look like?
A good friend of mine named Dave Park threw me a bone.
So it was a relationship. Yeah. Which
it was a good friend of mine
like
who believed in me. And he's like, I was working at a call center. I was an operations manager. And I was good at managing people. I was good relating with people. And I understood the marketing world, whatever. And this buddy of mine got hired at a bank and calls me, dude, they're hiring a director of operations. You're it. He gets me in with the CEO. He gives me a glowing review. I'm 28 years old. I get hired to run this show. And it was my big job, you know, and loved it. And then Dave goes to work for another company. Bro, hiring a director of operations here. This is you. You got to come. So I go interview with the owner, and the owner liked me so much that he's like, I want you as the CEO. Wow. So he fires the CEO, who was a dude that was established, I've been running the company for years. And here I am, 29 years old, running a company. Wow. You know, fresh out of college. I had just finished my MBA. And I'm taking my first like real job. And I'm the CEO of a company with 300 employees. And I'm like, geez, you know. And it took off from there. I was the CEO of that company and ran 2 other companies. I was the CEO for those companies. I learned how to do exits and negotiate deals, working with those guys. The owners of those companies were very kind to me. They always gave me a lot of leeway, a lot of rope to kind of do my own thing. And we had success. And then that led me to 2012 when I began to do my own companies.
So on the path, being an entrepreneur as well, like you go through, I wish it was up to the right always, where things were just smooth sailing, right? Rainbows and cotton candy, but generally the path is filled with some barbed wire and glass, and maybe you could share one of those moments as an entrepreneur, or just something dark or something really hard that you went through, and kind of what was the thing that got you out of that?
When I started my first company, Trizon, we were a marketing agency. My good friend Steve Wilson was my business partner, and he got me through a lot because he was a man of faith, and he was so committed that it made me feel committed. I'm like, if he's that committed, how can I not be committed? You know, the first 9 months we were it was struggle, man, to get the clients, to get the business rolling. It was just, something wasn't clicking, you know. I had connections, I had a reputation. I was trying to, I'm doing biz dev all day long, and I can't bring the deals. I was bringing little deals, tiny fish. I was looking for that one whale that would be the anchor account that would put you on the, you know, on the map. And we struggled for about 9 months. We're running out of cash. We did our last cash call. And I remember we put this cash call together, and it was like, okay, that's all the money I have. Like, I had nothing. At that point, I was a broke man. In 2012, I was broke. But it's what it takes to start a business. You got to fully commit. And I remember selling every watch I owned. I had a couple of Porsche. I sold them. I had all my bikes. I kept one bicycle. We were living in a small condo, and my wife is starting a business. I'm starting a business. We're putting all of our liquidity, every asset we have, into these businesses, and it was happening all at the same time. So that was pretty scary, because you look at your bank account and you're like, okay, yeah, we're literally pretty broke right now, and if these businesses don't get going, we're going to be in trouble financially. You know, those were difficult times. But my friend Steve Wilson was always so positive that things were going to come. It's coming. Just, you're good at this. I trust you. He was always like my cheerleader, like, dude, we got Hondo. What do we have to worry about? Kind of attitude. I'm like, bro, are you serious? Like, look at the books, bro. But, it happened. We landed the first big account, and it took off from there. Like Trizon, within 2 years, we were 700 plus employees and crushing it. And it just happened overnight. Like, we went from no momentum to just wild momentum.
Wow. At the point of that breaking point. At
the edge of where I'm thinking, I need to go update my resume. I'm going to start looking for a job. Yeah. Like, I was in that mindset.
Right.
But also feeling committed to the project, and to my partner. And it worked out. And I don't want to take too much time, but the way it happened was pretty remarkable. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like to ask, especially people who have found success through business and finances. I love this question of, like, how do you think about success now? What do you define as success?
Yeah, freedom.
Freedom.
Yeah, I've read this in books. So this is my original thought, but I believe in this. Men, at the core, what we want as men is freedom, ultimate freedom. And I believe women at the core, what they want is safety. For men, financial freedom, being financially in a good situation gives you freedom. So a lot of us, we're not looking for money, we're looking for freedom. Yeah. But if you're 8 to 5, on that hamster wheel, working all day, beholden to your boss and their boss and their boss, you don't have freedom. Can you go meet with someone whenever you want? Can you go take a trip? Can you change your name? Whatever. Are you free to do all these things? And when you're an entrepreneur and you've had success, all of a sudden you find freedom. Freedom to spend time with your family, freedom to run the business the way you want, freedom to hire or not hire this guy, freedom to do or not do that investment. You're free to guide your life in any way you want. The biggest thing that I find joy in is that I'm free. I don't owe anything to anyone. I don't want anything from anyone. I'm free to have friends that I choose to have, and I'm free to say no to other people. And it doesn't affect me. I'm free. And that's the biggest thing I enjoy in life today. I have the freedom to spend time with my family. I have the freedom to hang out with friends that I want to hang out with. Go biking with Shawn whenever he calls me. Yeah, dude, life is good.
Better believe it.
That's awesome.
Hey, maybe we can also, this is a personal thing, Hondo, maybe you want to talk about this, but we were on a bike ride recently and I said, hey, what's your future vision? And this is all revolving around biking. Maybe you can share, we can finish with that, because I thought it was such an incredible target and goal in your future. So this is you putting out to the universe, putting it on a podcast. What is the thing that you want to do in that space?
I want to do it again.
Yeah.
So in 23 and 24, I was lucky enough to qualify to go to the World Championships in UCI World Championship, which is the kind of the pinnacle of cycling for amateur cycling. It's called the UCI World Championships. And you have to race and qualify in the US. You earn a spot to be able to go to Europe and represent the United States in Europe, racing with insane Europeans that are in 10 times the shape you are, but you're still there. And I did that in 23. I went to Italy in Tolentino, and I raced in the UCI World Championship, the amateur championship, which was insane. And 24, I did it in Scotland. And it was such an experience. It was so, I love the United States. I'm more American than Chilean these days. I love the 4th of July. I love the history. I love the diversity. I love that we're so imperfect in America. I love that we are who we are. And I love to be called an American. When I became a citizen 13 years ago, happiest day of my life, man. I tell you, so proud. So being able to go to Europe and represent the United States, where the official US cycling kid, was such a proud moment. I want to do it again. I told Shawn, I have, before I become 60, bro, I have to do that.
I love it that you're also representing the flag on your jersey. Yeah. I mean, you're all decked out. You're really representing the country, and I think what a great vision that is.
We had in 24 there were only 60 Americans who earned a spot between men, women in different age categories. I was one of those, and in my category, I went to the race. There was like 220 cyclists doing my one event, and there were 2 Americans in the entire crowd. There's Japanese, English, French, Italian, Spanish, former pro cyclists, former Olympians, and then there's a couple of U.S. amateur dudes, a dude from California, and I'm like, yeah, let's go get destroyed, dude. But it was such a proud moment. So I want to do that again because it's such a cool experience. So from a cycling passion, I want to do that again because
That's awesome.
It's an amazing experience.
So cool. Can I ask one follow-up on that? Cycling, what does it do for you mentally, physically, or even spiritually? Like, are there?
All of the above.
Is that part of your experience cycling? Can you say more about that?
It's my therapy, man.
Yeah.
I tell you, cycling has done a lot for me. I had a divorce that happened 14 years ago now, and if it wasn't for cycling, I don't know where I'd be today.
Yeah.
I remember many hours and miles on that bike, processing what I was experiencing.
Yeah.
But it was my time to connect with my Heavenly Father, and it was on the bike. It was so, because you're there, you're up in a canyon, and it's nature, and it's just you, and it's quiet, and you can reflect. Whenever I'm having a hard time or a hard day or I'm being difficult, my wife's like, will you please go on a bike ride?
Same with mine. For sure.
True, right? And you come back and you're like, oh, I'm a chill, do it again, you know? So, and then some of my best friends are cycling friends because you spend so many hours on the bike chatting
you
and
get
talking.
Social connection too.
The social connection is a good time. It keeps me active, keeps me healthy,
That's awesome.
And it's a lot for me.
That's powerful. Thank you for sharing that.
That was a good follow-up question. This guy's the best of the best.
Yeah,
here.
right. Yeah.
I love being part of the Here Brotherhood with Mike. I went on a men's retreat a while back with him, and the way he leads and helps men, men tend to isolate, and I love that he gets them out of that isolation, gets them talking and traveling from their hearts to their head and talk about their feelings
Or
and what
vice
they've
versa.
done,
Head
or
to
vice
heart.
versa.
Yeah.
That journey, and he's one of the best trainers in front of these men I've ever experienced, and
Very cool.
so it's an honor. I love the Here Brotherhood, and what you talked about today falls in line with the Brotherhood because we talked about hard things and great things and vision and family and everything else. I mean, that's in line with what he preaches and presents at the Here Brotherhood.
Yeah.
That means a lot. Appreciate
Very
it.
cool.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks
Hondo.
for sharing your story and your insights. Yeah.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
your
having me.
friendship, man.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Right
He's
on.
a true homie, as you can see. And
Thank
we
you.
can't wait to see that picture. America on the chest and
Bro.
representing our country
Heck
again,
yeah.
man. It's a great honor for you, and I'm looking forward
I'll
to
let
that
you
day.
know when I have. You got to come be my support
I
guy.
will. I'll be driving in the convertible behind you.
Let's go.
Right.
With towels and drinks.
Yes.
All right.
Nice.
Thanks for watching. This is Here Brotherhood in an X Room exclusive. I think it's the first time we've ever done a collaboration like
I know,
that. And
it's awesome.
I'm glad that I was able to sit in on it, and appreciate your time. And it's an absolute honor to have you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Shawn.
guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Hondo.
Goodbye.